You have finished your blocking. Now we need to assemble. The first thing we are going to assemble are the shoulder seams. Doesn't matter which side. I have live stitches on a holder. Oh, I forgot to take off my stitch markers. That's fine. I'll get rid of them when I transfer them onto a needle. And there's the corresponding. And these should have the same number of stitches. That's how the sweater was designed, to have the same number of stitches there. So what I need you to do is to get your needle, and this is a 3 needle bind off, and it's also a 2 needle bind off with a crochet hook, and I'll show you both. So if you're using straight needles, you will need 3 or 2 and a crochet hook. And for myself, I like to use circular. So I will put, this will be 1 needle, this will be the 2nd needle, and there's a 3rd needle, and then later on it's the crochet hook to show you the alternate. So what I need you to do is to transfer those stitches onto a needle. That's the first step. I have my front panel and my back panel. I have them on live stitches on the needle. The right sides are facing each other, and I'm using my circular. You can use 2 straights, and ensure that the right sides are facing each other and you have the exact same number of stitches on the 2 needles. To do this, you would start with your yarn at the back. Now I left a long enough tail for me to do this. If for whatever reason your tail is too short, it's okay. Just start a new piece of yarn from your ball of yarn, and that's okay, and then you'll just weave in the end. But I left myself a long enough tail for that purpose. So now what you do is you take your 3rd needle, and I'll do this for a couple of the stitches. You take your 3rd needle and you pretend that you are going to knit. So I go in as if to knit on the 1st needle, and then I pretend I'm going to knit on the 2nd needle, and I bring the yarn through both of those loops and I pull it off. Now I have 1 stitch there. So I do that again, bring it in to the stitch on the 1st needle, bring it into the stitch on the 2nd needle, do your knit stitch, pull it through both, pull both off the needle, and then we're binding off. You take that 1st stitch and slip it over like that. Make sure your tension is even, don't pull too tightly. Try that again. You insert into the 1st loop on the 1st needle, insert it into the 1st loop on the 2nd needle as if you're knitting. Make your knit stitch, pull it through both, and drop each of those stitches off of their respective needles, and grab that 1st stitch and pull it over. And again, ensure things aren't too tight. Now, for some, holding 3 needles and binding off with 3 needles, some find that awkward, and so you can take that out, and using the same size hook as your needle, you crochet it in a way. So you insert your crochet hook in, just like you were going to knit it, into the 1st stitch on that 1st needle, insert your crochet hook into that 1st stitch on the 2nd hook or needle, pull it through, slide them off just like you were knitting, but now you don't have to slip it over. Instead, because you have a crochet hook, you can just pull it through. So if you're a crocheter, you might find that a little bit easier. So I'll repeat that. Insert, insert, pull it through, pull them off because they're knit now, and now you have to cast off by crocheting. Pretty slick, hey? So insert in, pull your yarn through, take those off because you've now knit them, and now you have to cast it off. But because you have a crochet hook, you can just pull it through. So it's your choice as to how you do that, whether you use a needle and you knit it and slip it over, or a crochet hook and then pull it through. I'll pick this up at the end. Just coming to the last of my stitches, put a crochet hook through, crochet hook through. Just running out of yarn there. Pulling through, pull those off, and pull that one through like that. This is a thread I'll have to bind off, and then I'm just going to pull it through, and now it's secure. And now you have done a beautiful join at the shoulder. Isn't that beautiful? Very neat. Nice, and it's strong and it looks good. This is where, if you ever encounter an experienced knitter and they see you've knit something, they're always going to want to see the wrong side of your garment, because we're interested in the finishing and to see what it looks like on the inside of the sweater as opposed to the outside. We're a little crazy that way, but to us, this is where the impressive part is in how you finish your garment. So how does it look on the inside? And that creates a nice, beautiful, professional, nice looking professional seam on the inside, and it's a very good strong seam. There's nothing that's going to cause this to rip and tear. So go ahead and do that with your other shoulder seam.